Welcome to the Flowably podcast with Dr. Diana Hishtova. If it's your first time tuning in, I'll let you in on a little secret. You are participating in a live book writing session. We will be publishing the book Psychedelics Without Drugs next summer, and these podcasts are actually live interviews for the book. If you, dear listener, want to help shape the story, please contact us at our website flowably.io and share your thoughts, insights, new topics you want to hear, or even a better title for the book.
In this episode, I'm joined by my colleague Dr. Colin Black, one of the most significant Australian sound artists of our time. Colin's compositions and sound art are evocative exploration, letting the listener experience firsthand fascinating soundscapes and stories. For his art, Colin has won a New York Festival's Award for Best Sound Artwork and Prix Italia Awards. He has been nominated for many other awards around the globe. In our conversation today, we dive into the essence of living a life of flow, about sensing and following the flow, as well as navigating one's own creative and healing processes. Join us on this journey. Talking about flow, where would you say and when you experience flow as this full absorption into something you're doing?
Oh, many times. I think when I'm writing music, playing music, and listening to the soundscape, I'm releasing all those expectations of how things should be, and I'm just letting things flow. I'm getting in touch with the present moment. I would call it mindfulness.
Right. So for you, it's your experience like flow is kind of like this mindfulness when involving with the music.
Yes, usually, but other times, in difficult parts of my life, I think of flow as, well, I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm meant to be here. I don't know why it's feeling uncomfortable, but I need to go with this. And that, to me, is another concept of flow. It's not part of my profession so much, but it usually works out that when you surrender to it, you attract the right energy and you start to go down the right path and things start to happen for you. Whereas if you keep pushing in the wrong direction, you use a lot of energy and it sometimes just becomes even more difficult.
Right. So you'd say that when you don't talk about art creation flow, there is this kind of like the flow in your life and kind of the sense of right and wrong. And what's interesting to me, did I get you right that you said that it can feel uncomfortable but still feel like it's flow?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm not sure whether there's a right and wrong. It's just flowing. It's, you know, when you're in the right flow. And yeah, sometimes it feels uncomfortable because maybe sometimes you don't want to go in that direction, but you just kind of like, you know, you have to go in that direction because it's just the universe, all the forces are guiding you to be there. And
right, so you sense that
when you resist it, you create more tension and like you create this disturbance that causes problems, usually causes, more problems than it's worth.
Well, this is very interesting because, when we talk about flow, very often, people just say, go with the flow as if it's something easy. But now you say that it can feel like, go with the flow, but it's not trivial. It's something to overcome as well.
Yes. To me, flow, it's not just, it's always a good feeling. A lot of the times it can be, but sometimes it can be what I think, is sometimes you just have to accept that you're in the right place at the right time, going in the right direction, and it feels uncomfortable, but you know that you need to go in that direction.
Oh, this is fantastic. This describes it so well. Also speaking from own experience, that it's not. It's kind of like I don't know if it's relevant, but when we were gymnasts, when we were stretching, for example, for me it was very clear what's the right pain and what's the wrong pain. You know, so like the right sort of pain was a pain of growth. And the wrong sort of pain is, I've done something harmful to my body. So maybe like flow is like this sense of as well, like it might be uncomfortable and you're stretching, but like you're becoming into what's right for you.
I think that's a really good description of flow, you know. You're stretching yourself. Yeah, sometimes it hurts in both ways, but sometimes when it's hurting in the wrong way, it's causing damage. When it's hurting in the right way, it's building you and guiding you in the right path. It's making you stronger and more flexible.
Wow, amazing! But how do you sense it? Like, where is this feeling that you're on the right track, even if it hurts?
Well, to share my personal life at the moment, with my elderly father in Australia. And it's not an easy thing to watch your father get old and demented in certain ways. But I know this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where the flow has sent me here, and I know that this is my path. It's not an easy path.
Right.
Yes, and it's and I know something. It's not it's not going to last forever either. So it's going to lead me somewhere else after this.
Right. So you're just like following along, and it might be.
Yeah, that's the path. Yeah, it's. Yes, I'm guided. I'm like I had to come here. It's not. Yes, I'm pulled to be here at this point in time.
Right.
And I think that's flow. I don't really find it very comfortable. But there's really good connections with my father. Also to spend that quality time together, but it's distressful to see him so frail and weak and confused.
Yeah, you told me, but would you say that, because now I hear also that it's challenging, but enriching communication is kind of like purposeful in a sense that it doesn't, it's not like effort gone to waste. But it's I don't know, maybe if you.
I think this experience of flow sometimes makes you more resilient, makes you wiser, makes you more compassionate. And I think that when you're in situations like this, I know I'm in the right place at the right time. So I've gone with the flow. I'm flowing with it. I'm not forcing this. But it's not always easy. But I know that I'm going to, as a person, I'm going to grow as a person. It's going to change me. It's going to make me more human, if that's a way to put it. More compassionate, more. It's opportunities for growth in many ways.
It's kind of like the grind aspect of flow in spiritual growth or personal growth. As far as I hear it, as you becoming more human. How you described it,
Yes, yeah, and that's. those types of interactions, there's certain interactions in your life. Sometimes it's when you meet people or you fall in love or something, major events in your life that impact and change you. It's
Right.
before that event, you were like this. After the event, you change. And you can't change in that direction without that event happening.
So it's kind of like it's a bit of a, maybe it's a bit of a cliche talking about this, but I still find it very useful concept, like with the comfort zone and being out of the comfort zone, growing, stretching out of what we are comfortable with currently, and like making next step into what we didn't maybe think it's possible yet for us.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's like when I decided to leave Sydney and I just went, I'm going to Europe. And I was pulled there. That's where the flow was taking me. And I believe I just had to do that. I still believe
Right.
that's where I was meant to be. And that's where
This is a big decision. Yeah.
that's where
Like,
I probably need to go back to as well. It's I don't know, flow is like when you get in touch with how you feel and you stop thinking and you just know. That's flow. You just know that you need to do that. You need to be there. You need to do these things. And it's kind of like you just feel it in your whole body, your whole being, that this has to happen. And when certain things happen, you go, this is why I had to do that, because now this has happened. And it's not logical. In my mind, it's not logical. It's like the soul just drags you there. It's like the heart just drags you there, and you go, okay, that's where I'm going. For me, it is. And a lot of decisions, I think that's how flow works. It's just, it's not making it, it's not making, you're not thinking in logical terms, you just know. And when you know, you're flowing with things. And sometimes you don't know why you know, you just know. But this is meant to be like this.
Right, so you don't know
No.
why you know, but you know what you know, and you know that you know.
Yeah, you know, but you don't know why you know. And to me, that's part of flow. You just and sometimes it's partly, like you got to shut off the logical mind and just get in touch with feeling and the present and allowing these feelings to flow through you so you can catch the ones that feel right and you let the other ones just pass by and just feel and just know out of that experience. Like, it's kind of like meditating in my mind. You just get into that reflective state and you're right in the present moment and there's nothing else distracting you and these things just come to you. These ideas, these thoughts, they emerge because you get rid of the noise and the truth starts to emerge, or what you need to know. I don't know whether it's the truth, but it's probably the subconscious mind just filtering all the data, and it just gives it a space to talk to you.
This is how you experience it, right? And it's it's as true as it gets, because you're also one of the people that I found that I to describe that most eloquently, in a sense, to be most faithful, truthful to their experience. So also this is why it's such a amazing occasion to have you on the podcast talking about this. And it's a very beautiful. I also was sensing this kind of flowing, becoming from kind of, the effort and the stretching and the growth at the same time, with the no mind and following the intuition. So there is like both like a letting go aspect and a struggle or grind aspect, and it's kind of both. But I don't know if this describes it for you. I was hearing how like the surrendering leads the purpose, so to say, and intuition, where is the right place to be, and the grind kind of facilitates that you can pull through this, but at the same time experience, as you say, like taking all these experiences, find the beautiful ones, like with your father, and finding the beauty in the difficult situation, but that you're sharing together. It's, to me, it sounds a lot like yin and yang, like the active, the kind of like the yin facilitates the direction, like the surrendering of going with the flow, and the yang kind of gives the power to, or the work commitment to work through a situation, or move on from it, grow out through it.
Yeah, grow through it. Growing through it's the way to think of it, and experience it, and not shut out that experience. It's I was having a conversation with a friend recently, and we were talking about trauma, and things related to trauma, and it's embracing those things that hurt, and acknowledging that they're there, and kind of not judging them, going, okay, I know that thing's there, that thing hurts me, and I'm giving it this kind of space to be there, and then allowing it to transform. Not pushing it away, just, I know this pain's here, I know the pain's here, you're like this, I can describe it, and it's, then you think about describing where the pain is in your body. Is it in your throat? Is it in your hands or your mouth? And then it shifts. It transforms at least. And I think that's part of flow when you're in a very uncomfortable place. It's good to experience it. It might not be it might not be a very comfortable thing to experience, but it's better to acknowledge it and go, I'm experiencing these things, and I'm feeling these things, and I'm acknowledging that, and then I'm going through that.
Yeah.
Rather than
this is
pushing things away and going, okay, it didn't happen, everything's wonderful and beautiful.
This is such an essential part of coaching, though, what you're saying, because everyone wants, of course, like when a coach works with a client, of course you wish for them to feel better, to have a better kind of like connection with their life, and like structure things that they're better for them. But at the same time, I also think what you're saying now is so crucial, because there is this wellness paradigm that people like keep talking about, drink water, track your exercise, and this and that. And I find it to be, of course it's essential, but the way it's kind of offered to people is very robot-like, as one more thing you should track, like 10 more things you should track, 10 more things to feel guilty about, 10 more things to say to yourself that you're doing better, and that you have to feel better if you do these things. Whereas I find what you said to be at the heart of, also with Flowably, like this is why I went for like for the website, like with the darkness and like the flame, because, you need the light most when you're in the darkest place. You need to acknowledge that you're in a dark place to look at it, to feel it, to be present with it, as you say, to listen to your pain. What does it signal? It's not just, it's great to drink water, but it's not like drink water and it's going to fix everything, and track yourself until you drop and it's going to fix everything. It's not about that. So I am very profoundly resonating with what you said, how you, through listening to pain, you get a better connection of what you're experiencing, who you are, what you're going through. Also this, my interpretation of it also, when you said that it's about being a better human, or becoming more human, is about also acknowledging your experience, not just being compassionate to others.
Yes. But I think also when you acknowledge the pain, it allows the pain to transform in a way that when you don't acknowledge it, it gets pushed aside, and then eventually it comes back usually in a, you're going to pay it later when you pay more. If that makes sense. It'll come back and haunt you in ways that you won't even be conscious of sometimes.
Right.
And then you'd have to dig it back down through your psychology to go, what was the thing that's making you do that? And it's this thing that you just didn't deal with sometimes in your childhood even.
That you neglected.
Yes, and then you do like psychodrama exercises or different meditations, and you can talk to the child and you add up and join it all back together. But and heal the child, and therefore kind of heal the adult.
Right. I mean, what is also worth mentioning for our guests today is that you are also in art therapy. So when you talk about topics of, understanding, exploring, sensing your pain, working through it, it's also the words of a person who is taking that journey from a therapist perspective as well.
Yes, but the other thing with arts therapy is, if we think of flow in arts therapy, it gives you the space to flow and allow a mindful space to allow these things to emerge that you don't even know that are there. It gives you, like when you ask people to do a collage about yourself, and they put together a collage, and then you get them to reflect on it. Why did you pick that? And they sometimes come to realizations that subconsciously they picked that, and it represents something in their psychology that was neglected or that they need to focus on. My point there is that the arts therapy allows this to flow in a way and to emerge. Whereas if you're working and you're just living day to day, you don't have those opportunities to get in touch with that.
Right. So arts therapy is like the frame that gives the space
to allow these things to flow and allow these things to emerge that you're not even conscious of yourself. That's the beauty. One of the beauties of it is it can allow you to become more aware of your own needs and your own healing.
Right.
How would you say, because you're also, I'm mesmerized by your approach to listening, because through your sound walks that you post daily on social media, it really made me very sensitive to listening to the environment, and it was like reframing my perception. And now I don't know if it's connected, maybe it's just a connection that I see there, but like I'm hearing that you say, arts therapy keeps the safe space to facilitate flow so that you can listen to yourself or your process or your trauma and pain.
Yes, the soundwalks, it's the purpose of the soundwalks on my social media is exactly that, is to make you, the person that's looking at my social media, more aware of their own sound environment. When I'm sound walking and listening to the environment, it's a really deep level of flow because I'm surrendering to the environment. I'm taking it all in. I'm not judging it. I'm just there right in the space and flowing through the space. It's, when you do it best, it's kind of like meditating. Your logical mind just cuts off and you're just listening. And you're becoming more in touch with the environment just through listening. And the other thing that happens is, or what I encourage people that I do some workshops in sound walks with, is that to get them to listen and then position themselves in the environment, not through eyes, but through their ears. So it locates them in an environment, which, like I tend to ask them to draw sound maps. And always they're in the center of the sound map, and all these sound maps that they came up with are very different. I did a workshop in Ljubljana where one of the participants was a dancer, and her interpretation visually of the soundscape was very abstract, whereas most people would kind of draw, there's trees over there, and I'm this distance from the trees, and there's birds over there, there's cars over there. This one looked more like blobs of colour and patterns, and it was really interesting to see how she interpreted her listening experience through coming up with a map visually.
This is amazing, yeah.
But to come back to flow, when you're sound walking and you get right into the moment, you're just there. And you know where you are. You're just listening to the soundscape around you. And that's always, well, I think it's usually very beautiful when you take that time out of your life and just go, I'm just going to listen to what's around you, all around. Take opportunities of, instead of to go to a lookout, to go to a space that is a listening out, where you go to somewhere that's, you like the place because it sounds interesting. It sounds
interesting.
Yeah, it sounds it's got sonic attractions, not visual attractions.
Yet again, I found you changed because we collaborate for many years now, and what I find the way that you changed my perception in hearing and the flow of hearing for me is that I also became curious about things because, for example, I remembered you interviewed me once, so right back at you this time. You interviewed me once, and I had a blooper. I misspelled, and I did a comic remark on it, I don't know, some comical remark on my own mistake. And you found that interesting. I found it embarrassing because I wanted to communicate something, but I didn't actually accept the sound of my voice. I didn't expect for the mistake to happen, and then I ridiculed it. But you liked it. I think you even included in some performances afterwards.
People say things and they articulate things well, but that was a very interesting vocalization.
Yeah, for me, but you didn't judge it, for me this was mind-blowing because then I saw that when it comes to perception, and listening, and you say, interesting environment sound-wise, I realized that anything could be interesting if the quality of my attention is there to make it interesting, if I don't judge it as, right or wrong or good or bad, nice or not so nice, but I'm just embracing the sound of it and to find that it was actually funny and interesting in some way. So thank you for this.
You're very welcome. And thank you for allowing me to use the recording.
You're welcome. Hearing my blooper on a performance in Vienna, like by ORF, it was like a surreal dream came true. You know, like your mistake, your embarrassing mistake, becomes something interesting, and people, you know, listen into it, and it's all because of your, you know, approach also to sound and I think why I'm mentioning this in our conversation of flow is maybe because you compared, or you said that for you flow is like meditation. You said it several times, and one of the aspects of meditation is, you know, the just being non-judgmental, you know, encountering your thoughts. Yes, they come up. Yes, many people, you know, because as a wellness coach, people ask me, but, you know, how do you meditate and what do you do? And I tell them that I come up with my own type of meditation. I don't have to, you know, sit down and torture myself like with an approach that's customary. Like there is, you know, you have your sound walk meditation. I have my dance meditation. But, you know, I think this quality of non-judgment is just vital to it. And also like when it comes to flow, because I think if you're in a difficult situation and you're just focused on judging it, you can be being like, why is this not like this? Why is it so difficult? And we all of us get stuck in situations like that. But this is also where we get stuck rather than flowing with it, as you described. That you know, you accept that this is where you ought to be right now, and to flow through it despite of the difficulty.
And in fact,
because of it.
In fact, also be grateful for it. And that's the hard one to get to sometimes. You know, like accepting it, and then even when it's not so good, grateful for that to happen, because you're going to learn so much.
Yeah.
And grow so much. Some of the not so good experiences in my life with some people, I thank them now, because I think that they gave me such a good lesson. And I wouldn't have got that lesson, I wouldn't have got that knowledge without that not so good interaction with the person. That makes sense.
Totally, yeah. I mean, for me, this was the paradigm-changing shift of my life, where I realized that any situation gives me a chance to grow. And I didn't even care, you know, like... because obviously we none of us has the complete truth as to life, the universe, and everything and all the rest, but I chose to look at it as a learning experience, and to be convinced that it is a learning experience, because I mean, this way life's way better and so much more fun, so much more interesting. I can laugh about some difficult situations that I would previously take like very seriously, and now I can, as you say, you know, just take it as a growth opportunity.
That's what it is.
But I think also what you said is, yeah, it doesn't feel like it, but also like just, I think you mentioned the essence, for me at least, which was to be grateful for the opportunity to be alive, breathing, experiencing that.
Yes.
Learning.
Yes. Yeah, that's what it is. Life is a learning experience, and a series of experiences. And flow, we put that into it. When things are flowing, you're learning, you're experiencing the things that you need to experience at those points in time. If things are flowing for you, they're not always comfortable things to experience. But I think you know when it's not flowing, and you just... let's say, you just feel that you're in the wrong place. And you feel like it's not so much like, how did I get here, but it's more like, things are not lining up. Things are going very out of whack, and it's not flowing.
Right.
It's I think the Buddhists say, like, if you swim against the tide, you never get anywhere. But if you go with the tide, that's where you're meant to be. And it's not being fatalistic. It's not going, oh, I'll leave it to the fates, and then it's going to send me in the right place.
No.
Because this also sounds like this is also what I'm criticizing sometimes. When people say go with the flow, it doesn't mean anything goes. In a sense, it does. Life is rich and it's given experience after experience that are sometimes unimaginable previously. So it is, in a sense, anything goes, but it's about how you handle it. It's not about taking yourself out of the equation and just going to a cave to meditate. It can be flow for some time, but this is not the solution to, all life's drama. Not everyone would go to a cave and meditate, especially if you would have kids, or if you have a work project or a parent that you need to be there for in a moment. There's just, as you say, it seems to me that maybe we already touched upon this in the beginning then, that it's about, does it feel right? Does it feel like the struggle is worth it, even if it's a struggle? Because there is a lot of struggle and flow. I mean, this is also one of the stages of flow. You feel the struggle, and then after you put in the work, at some point it gets unleashed. So yeah, I feel like we've arrived like a full circle at the essence of lifelong flow, from what I understand of your approach.
Yeah. But what I find helpful is just to remind myself from time to time, this is where I'm meant to be. Why am I resisting this? This is what I'm meant to. I'm at the right place at the right time, even though logically I don't know why. And to accept that and be grateful for that. I think, something beautiful or something good comes out of that. That level of acceptance, that level of being grateful, and that mindset in itself changes everything.
It's true. And I'm so thankful that you were my guest today, and that we had the chance to share this flow journey together.
Well, thank you for inviting me on.
Thank you, Colin. And looking forward to much more sound art flow, soundwalks flow. Dr. Colin Black, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Flowably podcast. At Flowably, our mission is to train professionals across every industry on how to unlock productivity and wellness through flow. Visit our website, flowably.io, and schedule a free discovery call to learn more about the tools you can use to optimize your performance and well-being. We'll see you next time.